Welcome back. Thank you very much for staying with us. Now, red in the face and red in the streets. Unions are fuming at what they call government's inaction on the rising cost of living. They're out in cities across the country urging workers to down tools. But COSATU in the Western Cape says it's not part of the national shutdown. The Union Federation says it's embarking on its own march. Our reporter Nobesuthu Hejana is there and joins us now. Good morning, Nobesuthu. Most certainly we need clarity on this one. So COSATU in the Western Cape is not partaking in the national shutdown. They have an event, though, today. What is this particular event for then?
Well, Mfundo, earlier this month, COSATU and other affiliates, they did take part in a march where they were also bringing concerns when it comes to the high cost of living, the energy renewable, and also wanting government to take accountability, where they marched to the city of Cape Town asking the city to play its part when it comes to fighting crime in the Cape Flats. And they also took their march to the legislature where they wanted to speak to the Premier, but who was unfortunately not there, and they were ended up addressed by the Western Cape's MEC for Community Safety, and they took their march to Parliament where they handed over their list of grievances to the Minister of Police. But this morning they're saying that they're not part of the SAFTU national shutdown, as their march is basically on the transport issues. They want accountability from agencies like PRASA, the City of Cape Town, as well as the Provincial Transport Department. I'm joined by Malvin de Bruin, who's going to explain to us. Malvin, COSATU is not part of the SAFTU national shutdown. Why?
Yeah, COSATU has called its members here today to protest in front of PRASA. We came here in 2020 where we delivered a memorandum to PRASA as well as the government. And to date we are still waiting on a response. So today we are here to collect the response from a memorandum we submitted in 2020. So we are saying to the management of PRASA, we spoke to them this morning, to say today you must come out, give us a response in writing, and also summarize what has been done since 2020, if there's any change in terms of the rail system in our province. So COSATU is having its own march today, and it's not a shutdown march, it's a national strike in terms of our decision at our CEC level.
Can you clarify the confusion though, because it was communicated to us that SAFTU and COSATU will be having a joint march where they'll be raising issues of the renewable energy, the issue of high cost of living, and you barging in with the transport issues. So where is that confusion coming from, and how come you have your own, like you mentioned, yours is basically on PRASA and some of the issues or the grievances that were raised back in 2020?
Yeah, COSATU have called a socio-economic strike nationally. So that strike talks to the question of high petrol prices, unemployment, high electricity prices, etc. So that are the socio-economic strikes that COSATU have called nationally. So those marches will take place, but COSATU is having its own marches on its own. But in this province as COSATU, we will also be having, we've targeted PRASA to say we are here to collect our responses, because that's also linked to socio-economic issues.
Let's talk about those issues. Back in 2020, you had requested that buses be made available, which is something that the Minister of Transport, Mr. Fikile Mbalula, promised, and even saying that 80 buses will be made available into communities where the trains are not operating. And you also mentioned that you wanted a 50% reduction on ticket sales.
Now, the Minister said a lot of things since 2020, but the problem is that we don't see it on the ground. We don't see buses taking the people from Khayelitsha to Cape Town. We don't see buses taking people from Kraaifontein to Cape Town. So it's all on paper, but there's nothing tangible that's happening. And that we are here today. The Minister of Transport must come to the party and tell us what will happen. When will the central line operating? The central line is taking the bulk of our members. Khayelitsha must come to work. But there's nothing happening. There's only promises and promises. That's why we are here today.
And you'll be delivering your memorandum again or seeking answers from PRASA at 11 o'clock. What are we expecting from PRASA, and have you engaged with them before to say that you'll be here to collect your answers?
Yeah, today we are here to collect answers on our memorandum. We submitted them a letter, I think 2 weeks ago. In the letter we advised them that we were here in 2020 and we still waiting on response. So today you must come here and tell us what has been done since that time. I spoke to Mr. Raymond Maseko. He was at that time the regional manager, and he signed on behalf of PRASA and Metro Rail. So he will be here today. We also asked Leonard Ramakakari, the chairperson, to be here today. The group CEO is also here today. So they must come down at 12 o'clock and tell us what has been done so far and whether they will deliver on our demands.
Is it only Prasa, or are you also inviting the city of Cape Town and the province to this?
No, there's only Prasa for that one. The city will come to the city at a later stage because we still got unfinished business with the city.
Thank you very much. Well, Mfundo, that was Mr. Melvin de Bruin from COSATU here in the Western Cape, clarifying some of the confusion when it comes to COSATU being part of the SAFTU national shutdown, but they're saying that they're here to collect their answers from PRASA when it comes to some of the promises and some of the grievances that they've handed over in 2020, which relates to the operational or the operation of trains in the province and services that were meant to be delivered for those communities where the trains are not operational.
All right, most certainly much needed clarity there. Thank you very much for that update, Nobesuthu. That's our reporter, Nobesuthu Hejana, out in the Western Cape for us. Now, Parliament